Hey there, it's Kathlena, and we are here to make something that will have your family saying, dang, that's delicious. Today we are making lemon pancakes, but not just any old lemon pancakes. They're going to be gluten-free, egg-free, so that those of you with dietary restrictions can enjoy them. But for those of you who can have major allergens, make sure you check out the recipe page. I've got swaps and info for you on things you can and you can move around and substitute for. So in my case, the first thing I'm going to do is get the binding agent put together. And for me, that's going to be flax and water. Now, this is not your typical flax egg that you may have read about or heard about. I do things a little bit differently. And that's because, when you're working with so many different free froms, you have to make sure that you cover all of your bases. To this, I'm going to be adding 6 tablespoons of water. And this is just room temperature water. It doesn't need to be hot and it doesn't need to be cold. Going to give this a little mix, and then we'll leave this to set. It's going to get kind of solid. It'll behave like a gel. Now I'm going to grab my kitchen scale, which if you've been watching, you know I love a kitchen scale. It allows me to tell you precise measurements and you get to have perfect results at home. And I'm going to add my flour blend. You can use an all-purpose flour if you have one. I don't use all-purpose flours for a lot of reasons. A lot of them contain corn derivatives, but also because by making my own blend each time, it just allows me to have more precise control over the overall flavor and balance of how a recipe behaves. Now that I've got my flour blend and my sweetener in, I am going to add the baking powder. Now I've got our salt. Remember, salt adds a really nice natural flavor undertone and can help bring out the natural flavors in your recipes. Lastly, I've got a little bit of baking soda, and that's going to really help with our lift, which in an egg-free situation you absolutely want. Now, one of the things that you should really do to make the ultimate fluffy pancakes, mix by hand. So even though I've got this beautiful large mixing bowl, I'm just going to be using the wire whisk by hand, and I'm just mixing this up. And what we're going to do is put our bowl back on the scale. We're going to tare back to 0, and now we're just going to add our wet ingredients directly into the bowl. Now, if you're a fan of measuring and pre-mixing the lemon juice and the milk, so it's a little more almost like a faux buttermilk, you absolutely can. I'm just not going to do that today. So my milk is in, and now I'm adding the lemon juice. I'm also going to add my vanilla. And now I'm going to add my lemon oil. And this is just going to give it one more layer of lemony flavor. Okay, now I've got some lemon zest. I like to actually zest up a bunch of lemons and keep it in the freezer. That way I can just use lemon zest whenever I need to. It's about a tablespoon. Okay, the next step is to gently mix together. This is how easy it is to make these amazing fluffy pancakes. And you'll see the reactions happening. We've got all these bubbles forming. And now that I've got a little bit of mix here, I'm going to add in my flax. And I'm going to gently mix again and continue to gently mix until I feel everything is well incorporated. Just want to make sure that all your flour is mixed in, but avoid over mixing. Now, oftentimes you'll read that and you'll wonder, what on earth are they talking about? You see all this structure and these bubbles. If we mix to the point of just making essentially a liquid batter, we're not going to have fluffy pancakes anymore. We're just going to have essentially regular pancakes, which is not the worst thing ever, but it's not what we're going for. So just make sure that you're being super gentle with your mix so that when it's done, it's still got this beautiful body and structure. Make sure you go all the way down to the bottom, checking for any lumps of unmixed, just the dry ingredients, your flours. You don't want any of that. So you want to make sure that it's as mixed as possible, but again, not over mixing. Okay, I've got this gorgeous batter. Oh, look at that. I am going to get the pan preheated, and then we will cook at the stovetop. Okay, we're at the stovetop. My kids love it when I use a little bit of dairy-free butter. And I'm just gonna pop that in. I'm gonna turn the heat down just a little bit. This is pretty hot. Now, I'm going to be using a 3 tablespoon large cookie dough scoop today. I think it's gonna make us some beautiful pancakes. Okay, we are going to give these a flip. I could have cooked them a little bit longer. I just wanted to make sure, you know, they are super thick and fluffy. They're going to take a minute on both sides. But I've got some browning happening, so I just want to make sure I'm distributing that cooking. Okay, now we just repeat. I will add some more of that dairy-free butter. And then I'll get my scoops of pancake batter right in. Okay, we've got these gorgeous pancakes. Oh my goodness. Like, I need to have one of those things where it's like, ding, you know what I'm talking about? That thing, because these are gorgeous. And I'll have to like use a fork to show you because I can't touch this, but they are so fluffy. Like you can just tell, like they just look like you just bite into a pillow, but it's actually a pancake. Now, if you thought we were serving up plain Jane boring pancakes, maybe you haven't met me yet. I'm Kathlena, by the way. Nice to meet you. So we're gonna do a couple of things. Number one, we are gonna create a really cool aquafaba fluff that we can torch just to give it like a dramatic flair because it's so 1997, right? Like when we were all like drama queens. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this jar of chickpeas and I'm just going to drain it right into a mixing bowl. To this, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of cream of tartar. And I'm gonna let this mix up while we make the glaze. All right, while that's mixing up, here I've got just a regular old large measuring cup. I'm going to add some organic powdered sugar to this. And the first thing I'm going to do is just break down some of these clumps. You could sift it, but who really has time for that? Like just break down a few clumps. You'll feel good about it. Next, I'm going to add some lemon juice. I'm going to add a few drops of lemon oil to really just make it scream lemon. And then finally, just a little splash of vanilla. Going to mix this up with a fork. And you can see we've got this perfect glaze. Isn't that great? Okay, now that we've got some fluffed up, we're gonna tap in our maple sugar. Done. What I'm so excited for you to see, look at these peaks. I mean, what? How cool is this? And you guys saw how it started. It was just that little bit of liquid, and now we've got this. Before your imagination runs wild, it does have its limits, but this is not one of them. So we are about to have the coolest. I mean, is this not the coolest? It really is the coolest. Okay, I digress. I get so excited about this. Now what we're going to do is take our glaze, and we're going to load it up into a decorator bag. And this just allows us to have some control over how it looks. That's really why I'm doing it. It smells so lemony. Like these are gonna be bomb.com, if we're still saying that, bomb.com lemon pancakes. Okay, I've got my pancakes glazed. You'll have to pardon my partner over here. I'm just gonna grab some of this fluff and pop it right on top. Ooh, look at that. Oh, this is so fluffy and good. What I like to do is with the back of my spoon, just sort of shape it a little bit. And this will give us more just peaks that'll torch up and it'll be really pretty. And now, okay, let's see if I can remember how to use this. It's new. I've got to like do a thing. There we go. Here we go. I hope you guys are seeing this. It smells like full-on marshmallow heaven. Not that I like marshmallows, but if I did, I would love this smell. And there we have it. Marshmallow topped lemon glaze amazing pancakes. I don't even know, like, who eats pancakes like this? I don't know, but I hope you do. All right, guys. It got a little toasty right here, but that's okay. I don't think anyone's gonna eat this and just be like, I can't believe you did this, Kathleen. I also hope you learned a really cool party trick. Get yourself a culinary torch. Do this sort of thing. It really doesn't take much effort to just really impress your guests. They'll be like, dang, that's delicious, and it's free from all these things. So make sure you check the website. It's got all the details for you on how you can make this yourself. Honestly, I feel like these are really cool. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you also say, dang, that's delicious. I'll catch you next time.